Hi guys, I'm gonna show you how to set up the DCS settings and nvidia settings for your 2.5 open beta. Okay, so the first things we need to set up is the settings from inspector. So you open inspector, profile, you run as administrator. Okay, you choose for digital combat simulation. It should be somewhere around here. Okay, digital combat simulator Black Shark, which is the old name, which has remained into the inspector settings. So the first things you have to do on vertical sync, you force it on. This is the first setting you have to change. Then you go to anti-aliasing, transparency, multi-sample, and you put it in enable. Then you go on toggle FX AA on or off, you say on. Then in the power management mode you prefer maximum performance. Okay, so this is what you have to change in nvidia inspector. Now we can launch DCS World Open Beta. So it is booting up, and there we go. Okay. Well guys, hi, I'm gonna show you how to set up nvidia inspector and the settings I'm using for DCS World 2.5 open beta. Okay, the first thing I want to show you is how I have set it up nvidia profile inspector. If you don't know what inspector is, you just go on Google and you Google for nvidia inspector. It is just a small software that allows you to change some settings of the nvidia cards. So you go run for administrator, you search for digital combat simulator Black Shark. This is the old name for the Black Shark software from DCS. It has remained the same. So this is the one you have to work on to have DCS working with these settings. The first things you have to change is the vertical sync. You have to place to choose force on. Then you go for anti-aliasing, transparency, multi-sampling. You choose enable it. Okay, then you go on toggle FX AA on or off, you set on. Then you go to the power management mode, you choose for prefer maximum performance. Okay, then you go for apply, and now we can launch DCS. So it is booting up. We wait for it to be completely booted. My DCS is installed on an SSD hard drive, so it is quite fast. Okay, now we go on the settings. Remember that my rig is not the best one you can have, because the CPU is quite old, because it is an i5 Intel CPU 2550K over clocked at 4.4, And my RAM, I just have 8 gigabytes of RAM, and then as a video card I have a 1060 GTX with 6 gigabyte of VRAM. Okay, so these are my settings. I've chosen preset I, then I've made just a few changes. Text is I, turning text is I, civil traffic, okay, we go off. Water I, visibility range I, oh no, we take for medium for civil traffic. It blur low, shadows I, resolution, okay, your resolution. Aspect ratio is 1.7, monitors 1 screen, resolution of cockpit display 1024, MSA AA 2x, don't go above 2x if you are using different shading as I am. So depth of field is off, lens effects are known. Remember the depth of fields is very heavy on GPU. Okay, so there it is, and I'm gonna show you a little bit. Okay, so we go for a mission. Okay, I'm gonna go with free flight over Black Sea region, ramp start with the A10C. As you can see, the loading time is quite important in the Open Beta 2.5. Okay, it is moving. Slowly loading. Okay, we are into the cockpit. Okay, we go for flight. I set up my okay, well, as you can see, the anti-alias is not the best, as the third shading have some problems with the anti-alias, but as you can see, it is quite smooth. And okay, we go quickly on the startup sequence. So just if you don't know how to start up this thing, you just go for the battery power on, then you go with the inverter on standby, you go to you switched on the AC generators left and right, and now we switch on the APU. Okay. Okay, we wait for the APU to spool up. Here you have the indicators of the APU RPM. We waited to reach 100%. Okay, it is spooling up. Okay, now we turn on the APU generator. Okay, so now we are lined up, and now we can turn on the CDU. We turn on the switches for Chiku on, JTRS on, IFFCC on. We switch on also the MDUs 1 and 2. Now we also start the pre-flight bleed test. Okay, so now it is running some tests for us. Okay, now we can also maybe switch on the no, now we start our engines. We first start engine 1, which is the left one. We move on the throttle. Okay, we can see that the engine is pulling up. Okay, Okay, this.
Pull up, pull up.
Okay.
Altitude, altitude.
In the meantime, we load up all the data cards info into the system. We switch on load all. Okay, we look at the engine's RPM. Okay, this is spooling up. In the meantime, as soon as the engine number 1 generators kicks in, we have this alarm which is for the APU generator, so we just switch it off by pressing the mouse caution. Then we see that the pre-flight bit has been accomplished, so we exit it. We go on to the other exit. Now we also choose for CCIP consent option with move it to 5 miles, and then we can switch on the IFFCC switch. Okay, now we can spool up the engine number 2. We move forward the throttle, and we can see the N1 fun start. Okay, we check the RPMs. Okay, it is slowly growing. It is not growing at all because we didn't switch on the fuel pumps. It's something I have forgotten. So I go to idle cutoff again with the throttle stick, and now I switch on. Well, I actually don't know what happened. Okay, so we switch on the boost fuel pumps. Okay, so we can now start engine number 2. Okay, as you can see now the RPM are rising much faster. Okay, 30%, 35. Okay, everything looks quite normal. Okay, so the 2 engines now are fully powered up. We can switch off the APU, and we can also switch off the APU generator switch. Okay, now we go for the systems that help these birds to be flown. The electronic system, which are the yaw SAS and the pitch SAS. We switch them on. We also switch the takeoff trim to have the aircraft trimmed for takeoff. Okay, as you can see now the flaps are fully down. We switch this and we put it into the medium position. Okay. Now we go on the TED page to visualize the map, and we go for the CDU page to check the alignment process. We have 2.4, we need it to be 4.0 to have it perfectly aligned. I hope that the problem we had before with the airplane going forward didn't block the process. I guess yes, it blocked it, so we have to go back on to nav, and we switch again on to ground, and the alignment process will start from 0. Okay, now we can see that we have the anti-skid off, we we have the AAC and the GCAS off. EAC is a navigation system which will have to switch on after the completed alignment of the navigation system, so we keep it on off. Okay, we can now turn on the seat ejection system. Okay, so we see we have the navigation and the AAC still on the warning panel, but we will then switch them off. Now we can also turn on the electronic countermeasure panel. We go put it on standby and we turn on all the systems. This is our RWR system. Okay, we also switch on the radios. Okay, the VHF radio, the UHF radio, and the other VHF radio. Okay, so now the radios are all on, and we now can close the canopy. Okay, canopy is now closed. We now turn on also the oxygen mask. Okay, we tested the quantity of oxygen, keeping push the oxy button test. Okay, this is normal, oxy low. Okay, so we leave it and it goes like this. We also check the fuel quantity gauge. Okay, it has to point 5,900 to be okay. We leave it. Perfect. Okay, we in the meantime, while we wait for the alignment system to be completely aligned, we go on to the SMS page to check what's the weapon we have on. We have, okay, PDU 33 on pylon 5 and 7, PDU 50 on pylon 4 and 8, and TGM 65D and the TGM 65H on pylon 3 and 9. TGM 65 are Mavericks. So we go on the profile page. We choose the PDU 50 and we look for the profile. Okay, so we have single. It means that every time we pickle the weapon release button, one bomb will be released. That's fine. So we go for nose. And we also change the mode to CCRP, which means that we will have a computer calculated release point, and this will help us to see when we have to release the bomb to hit our target. Okay, so we save. Then we go for DPDU 33. Okay, again nose and CCRP. We can also see some more settings. For example, SAM climb. This is the maneuver we want to perform after releasing the bomb. We can climb, we can turn. Okay, we stay with climb. The release tough, minimum altitude, minimum tough, RT up, eject, rack. Okay, we leave it like this. These are advanced function. Some of these maybe we can set the minimum altitude we have to be above of before releasing the bomb. We can also decide the angle at which the bomb will hit the target, but now we leave this like this. Okay, this is the TGP page for the targeting pod. In this screen we will have, and we will see what we see on with the camera of the targeting pod, which is an essential piece of hardware that let us see our target. Okay, so now everything is aligned. We put the system into navigation. Okay, we see the nav light is now off. We turn on EAC and we click on into the on edgy. for the navigation system. Now we can see the pipette and the flight path indicator. Okay, now we can move and just make a quick flight to see some performance of this 2.5. Okay, we have of course to engage the steering to turn the steering wheel with the pedals. This is our A10. Okay, I forgot to turn on the lights, so now we turn on lights. We go for position lights to steady and anti-collision lights to flash. Okay. We are taxiing on the Alpha taxiway. Well, I didn't use radios, I didn't switch on the I didn't talk to the tower because this is just a test flight, so we are moving quite quickly to the runway threshold. Okay, now we check for example the gamma to see the amount of light we want. This depends on your monitor settings. Okay, we maintain 2.5. Okay. Okay, we check also the control surfaces, full left, full right and neutral. We check also the vertical surfaces. Okay, they move. Okay, we now check also the brakes. Okay, so everything looks fine. Okay, here we are. Okay. Okay, we turn on the landing lights, and as soon as we will be aligned. Okay, align the runway 1, 2. Alright. We pull up engines, maintaining the brakes, and then we release brakes and we roll. Okay, now that you are at 50 knots, you switch off the steering. So now you control the jaw of the aircraft with the vertical rudder, with the rudder. Okay, 160, we pitch up and we have airborne. Okay, gears up, flaps up. Okay, now we go to the sea to see some water. Okay, okay, now we switch here on flight plan. So we are using now our flight plan datas, and we can see also the map, and here you can see our flight plan. So here's the sea. We're gonna fly low onto the water. We throttle back and we go at 90% of RPM. Okay. One thing is actually missing in 2.5 is the water transparency. I mean, in 1.8 you was able to see the bottom of the terrain near the coast, but now you see the water as is something like very I mean thick. You cannot see anything below the water. Okay, here's the airport we just took off from. Okay, now we're gonna go above some forests to see how it behaves when there are a lot of trees. Okay. In the meantime, just to show you, I'm gonna turn on the weapon system. Okay. Okay, now we are moving toward waypoint 3. There it is. And now we go down to make some low passes.
Pull up,
Okay.
pull up.
Here we are.
Altitude,
Fast and
altitude.
low.
Pull up, pull up.
As you can see, well, I like the smoothness now in DCS 2.5 with the settings I've just shown you. Of course, my rig is not that good, but I can be quite happy with it.
Pull up, pull up.
Okay. So everything is fine. Okay, now we move to waypoint 3 with a tight right turn. Okay, 26 miles to go. Okay, we go back to full throttle. Okay. Ooh, huge amount of trees. Huge amount of trees. This looks like like a ski track. Okay. So this is 2.5 beta of DCS. They have to work on it. I mean, there are a lot of problems like entering the multiplayer sessions. Some targets are invisible to the eye and to the TGP, even if they actually shoot to us. I mean, I was on the Body Spike server fighting during an asset strike mission. I was aiming for an SA3, and I was actually unable to see it, even if it was shooting at me. And this you can see in one of the videos in my channel, and even if it was shooting at me, I wasn't able to see it. Okay. Okay, in the meantime, maybe we can go back to our airbase. Just switch to waypoint 0, which is our initial position. Okay, now we switch off all the weapons. Okay. There it is. Okay. I'm gonna slow down a bit. Okay, slowing down. Remember not to lower your gear above 200 knots. Okay, 200. Okay. Below 200 knots, we lower gear. We also extract the flaps, position 1. Okay. Beautiful beast, the A10. Okay. We kick in with some throttle. Okay, we are entering on the path for a right base turn. Okay, slow. Slow, slow, slow. Okay, we start our final right turn. Okay, 140 knots, we extend flaps to position 2. Okay, we are a little bit high.
Altitude, altitude.
Okay. We are full of weapons and full of fuel, so I don't know how this is gonna end up. Okay, very, very smooth landing. This has to be. Okay, touchdown. Extending the brake. Okay, braking wheels. Okay. Okay, we have engaged back the steering wheel. Alright. Brakes. Spoilers off. And here we are. canopy open. APU on. And here we are. Okay, we turn on the APU generator, we turn off the engines, and we turn off all the systems. Okay, so just showing you my settings in DCS 2.5 Open Beta. These are settings I like quite a lot. I'm not so satisfied about the anti-alias, but it is something I can deal with until they release some fix for it. Otherwise, you can always choose for HDR instead of deferred shaders, which is a good option if you prefer to have better anti-aliases than some more effects of lights into the scene. So thank you for watching my video, and bye bye.